Let's look at this set. The candlestick chart shown above represents the volume, the number of shares traded in thousands, and the prices of the 5 shares on a particular Monday at National Stock Exchange. The volume is represented on the left axis. For all the shares, the number traded was a multiple of 5,000. So for Infosys, we have 140,000 shares. For Wipro, it is 120,000 shares. For Mahindra, it is 150,000 shares, so on and so forth. Everything has to be in thousands and it has to be a multiple of 5,000. The price is represented on the right axis for all the shares, that is opening, closing, highest and lowest prices or multiples of ₹5. Okay, we don't know opening, closing, how are they represented right now, but the bar chart, we know, is represented on the left hand side. Okay, the share price is represented in the form of a candle, represented by either a white or a black rectangle. So this the share price is represented by white or black rectangle. An upper wick, the thin line that appears above the candle, and a lower wick, the thin line that appears below the rectangle. The top of the upper wick represents the highest price, while the bottom of the lower wick represents the lowest price traded on Monday. Okay, so high and low. This spot is here is the high price, and this spot here is the low price. Okay. The top and bottom of the candle represent the opening and closing price of that day. So this is opening and closing price of that day, but we don't know what is opening, what is closing. If the candle is of black color, the opening price is higher than the closing price. If the candle is of white color, the closing price is higher than the opening price of that stock. Okay. The average price of the stock is said to be the arithmetic mean of the lowest and the highest traded price. Okay. So based on this, we can record a lot of information for all these companies. Let's go ahead and do that. We have Infi, we have Wipro, we have Mahindra, we have REL, and we have LT. Now, for each of these companies, what all information can we capture? Let me first make rows. Now, first thing I know is volume, the traded volume, number of shares that they're trading. Then I can go high and low. Then I can also go opening and closing. I can also go the average share price. Average traded price, the last thing, average price. We'll do it. Let's do it for Infi and then I'll explain. This will be the volume. This will be the high price, low price. This is the opening price. This is the closing price. And this is the average price. Okay. For Infi, you have 140,000. I'm not writing 1,000 because 140 is enough. Highest price will be 55. The lowest price will be 10. The opening prices, see, because this is black, the opening price is low. Sorry, the opening price is low, higher than the closing price. So opening price is 45 and closing price is 25. And the average price is simply highest and the lowest traded price, 55 plus 10, 65 divided by 2, so 32.5. We have all the information we need for Infosys. Let us go ahead and do for Wipro. We have 120 as volume. Highest price is 60. Lowest price is 25. Opening price has to be lower, so it will be 50. And closing price is 80. 60 plus 25 is 85. 85 divided by 2 is 42.5. The average price is 42.5. Highest price is 60 and 25. 60 and 25. Okay. earbud है? This is my error, no? Wait. I keep making these subtle errors in dual graph thingies. Wait, for Wapro, the highest price is 60. Done. The lowest price is 15. The lowest price is 15, not 25. The opening price is 35, or how much is it? 25, and the closing price is 40. Which will also change my average by 60 plus 15 by 2 will be 37.3. Okay. Now for Mahindra, the traded volume is 150. I will go ahead and write down traded volume for all first, and 145. Now the highest prices for Mahindra is 50. For REF is 65. For LT is 70. Lowest prices for Mahindra is 5. For REL is 10. For LT is 25. 50 plus 5 by 2 is 27.5. 65 plus 10 by 2 is 37.5. And 70 plus 25 is 95. 95 divided by 2 is 47.5. I have the average prices also. Opening and closing for Mahindra, I see it is positive. So 40 it started, 50 it ended. For REL, it is black. So 50 it started and 35 it ended. And for LT, 35 it started, 45 it ended. We have all the information that we can potentially get from the graph. Let us read further. In a given day, the number of shares are bought, sold at different prices that vary between the highest price and the lowest price reached by the share on that day. Accordingly, average traded price of the share is given as the ratio of the sum of the product of the number of shares bought, sold, and the price of buying, selling in a day to the total volume of the shares transacted in a day. Okay. So the different prices at which different quantities of shares have been bought and sold, we calculate their value divided by total number of shares that have been traded. So basically, this is weighted average of uh, transaction. This is a weighted average at which transactions have taken place, and this is simply the arithmetic mean of the highest and the lowest value. Okay, let's see. For how many of the 5 shares mentioned, the highest price on that day was at least 50% more than the opening price of that day. So if it is 50% or lower, it is fine. If it is higher than 50%, then it is a problem. So opening price for Infi is 45, highest price is 55. 50% of 45 is 60. 50% more than 45 is 67.5. It is lower than that. So Infi should be counted. One company should be counted. Opening price is 25. Highest price is 60 for Wapro. No, it is going more than 100%. Not great. For Mohindra, opening price is 40, highest price is 50. Yes, this is fine. Only 25% more. So Mohindra should be counted. REL, opening price is 50, highest price is 65. 50% more would lead me to 75. So this is also to be counted. Then for LT, 35 is the opening price, 70 is the highest price. So 100%. No, this should not be counted. There are 3 companies for which the highest price was at most 50% more than the opening price of that day. Okay, next. For which of the 5 companies was the number of shares traded volume at the highest price maximum on a particular day? Okay. See, this is very, very weird framing of the question, because for which of the 5 companies, oh no, it is not weird framing of the question. There is a wonderful option. For which of the 5 companies was the number of shares traded volume at highest price maximum on that particular day? We have absolutely no idea. We know, for let's say, look at Infosys, we know 140,000 shares were sold. Now, how many 140,000 shares were traded in? Now, out of these 140,000 shares, how many were transacted at 55? How many were transacted at 10? How many were transacted at 45, 25, or any value between 55 and 10? That information is not known. That information is absolutely not known. Even if they had given us average trading price for the day, then maybe we can do some sort of maths. But right now, nothing is possible. And therefore, the answer to the question has to be cannot be determined. You cannot really find out the highest uh, price maximum pay, which company ended up having the maximum number of shares traded. This is impossible. Okay. Question 7. If exactly 60% of the shares that were bought and sold on Monday were bought sold at average price, okay, and the remaining were equally bought sold at the lowest and the highest price, which of the following shares was the third most traded? Okay. So if I want to do the calculation for INFI, 60% of this is 84 into 32.5 plus 28 at highest and 28 at lowest. So I can go 28, no, yeah, 28 at highest and 28 at lowest. I can simply do 28 at 65. This is the calculation that one needs to engage in for INFI. Okay. So, and the maths is simple enough to accomplish. What I'm choosing to do is I'm turning this also into 28, 28 into 32. So 97.5. I'm getting 28 into 162.5 or 14 into 162.5 into 2 is 325. So 325 into 10 is 3250 plus 325 into 4 is 1200 plus 100. So 1300. So we get 4550. This is the volume or this is the highest traded in terms of money. This is the value of shares of INFI that were traded. We'd have to do the same thing here also. So let us do it. 120 ka 20% is 24 into, I'll do 3 times the average price. 3 times the average price is 37.5 is 112.5 plus 24 into highest plus lowest. So 24 into 75. So we get 24 into 187.5. So 375. This we have to do. So 375 into 4 if I do. So 1500 into 6 if I do. Sorry. 24 into 375 by 2. So this turns to 12 or 6 or 3 into 1500. So this will get me to 4500. Okay. Close. I have to do more maths for each of them. Oh, I don't have to do this maths. See, wonderful thing. This is calculable. This we know for certain. No. This is third most traded. So I have to do for all. Cannot be determined, cannot be the answer. But I have to do it for every case. Okay. 30 into 27.5 into 3. So 82.5. Plus 30 into 55. So 30 into 132.5. So 15 into 265. This is so irritating. So 26501325. So we get 753975. Is this correct? 30 into 27.5. 30 into 82.5. Great. And 30 into 55. Also great. So this is the problem, no? This should be 137.5. So 1375 into 3. So 3900 plus 225. So 4125. This should be the answer. Okay. 4125. Of course, if I had a calculator, it would be easier to accomplish. Then 27 into 112.5 plus 27 into highest and lowest is 75. 75, so we get 27 into 187.5. This is amazingly bad. But 18 into 27, 18 into 27, or this is so irritating. 13.5 I will do, and 187 into 27 I will do. 7 into 7 is 9, 4 carried over, 0, 6 carried over, 1309, 4, 1 carried over, 7, 1 carried over, 3, I get 5049 plus 30.5. So 5062.5. And the last one now. 29 into 47.5 into 3 is 142.5. And 29 into 95. So you have to do 29 into 237.5. Now I'm not engaging in this calculation. All I can see is previously we had to do 27 into 187.5. Previously I had to do 27 into 187.5 and I got 5062.5. Here both the constituents are higher than the previous. Both the 29 is higher than 27 and 237.5 is higher than 187.5. So clearly this will be the highest. This will be the highest. This will be rank 1. This will be rank 2. This will be rank 3. This will be rank 4. And this will be rank 5. So when they're asking me which was the third most rated in rupees, the answer has to be option A, Infosys. Lots of calculation and my own limited ability or unwillingness to use the calculator also drags it up. Okay. For each of the 5 shares, equal number of shares were traded at opening price, closing price, highest and lowest price. Find the third most traded share in terms of total value. Okay. Equal number of shares are equal number of shares are traded 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everything divided by 4. Okay. If equal number of shares were traded at this, the average price at which transactions took place can directly be ascertained by simply taking the average of these 4 numbers. Average of these 4 numbers and transaction price. I'm simply doing 65 plus 70, 135. Then for Wipro, 75 plus 65. 75 plus 65 is 140. Then for Mahindra, 55 plus 90. 145. Then for Reliance, 75 plus 85, 160. And then 95 plus 80. So 175. Now these are the average price at which transactions have taken place is this. For Infosys, I'll do the work. It is 140 into 135 by 4. For Wipro, it is 140 into 140 by 4 into 120. Then it is 145 by 4 into 150 for Mahindra and 160 by 4 into 135 for Reliance and 175 by 4 into 145 for LT. Now, right off the top of the bat, if I have to simply compare these, I can see this 4 division by 4 gives me no value. So let it be. This does not really give me any value, so I am getting rid of it. Now, 175 into 145 is 160 square minus 15 square. 160 square, I'm trying to do maths interestingly. This is 160 square into 160 square minus 15 square. So 160 square is 25600 minus 225, something like this. So 25375. This is for LT. 25375. Now for 160 into 135, this is difficult to pull off, but 80 into 270 is easy to do. 8 into 27 is 3 cube into 2 cube is 6 cube, so 216 followed by 2 zeros. For Reliance, we know this. For 145 into 150, 145 into 150, what I can do is, I can do 150 into 150, 225, 22500 minus 150 into 5 minus 750 we have to do. So we'll get 21750 for Mohindra. Then 140 into 120 is the simplest, 16800. And 140 into 135. 13 into 14 is 182. 13 into 14. 130 into 140 is 18200. 140 into 5 is 700. So 18900. We have the traded value. So this is rank 1. This is rank 2. This is rank 3. And we only wanted the third highest. So REL will be the answer to this question. And that is the entirety of this set. Hopefully you realize that this question, the first two were fairly straightforward. And it wasn't as if just because it is a candle chart, all of a sudden the instructions or the insights that were derived were out of this world. It was simply data recording. You had to read through the text very carefully in order to understand what data is corresponding to what. Once you do that, things will fall into place. That is all for this.